Good morning, cultists! Welcome to a light dessert with CthuLoops. We did it. Holy cow, we did it. For the second time ever, we have attained world domination in CK2. Wow. That's right. Actually, this is better than the first time, even, because the first time I actually left some vassals around in India. I didn't manage to revoke all their stuff. Because I, got a little tired of it. But here we have actually and utterly taken everything and burnt everything down to the ground. Excluding the temples on the shorelines, of course, but, they were kind of necessary for us to build ships and whatnot. And, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad for us to have some culture in our world, right? Yeah, sure, these will be our beachside resort temple things, because that exists in real life, right? Beachside resort temples? Or is that just me? Maybe that's just me and my family going to beachside resort temples or whatever. In any case, not only have we managed to conquer the entire, Western world, but we've also conquered China and installed our daughter, what was her name again? Ah, shoot. I actually forget her original name. It was something ridiculous. Oh no, her birth name is Atsirux. Atsirux. Yes, we've installed our daughter Atsirux into the throne, and I have taken her brother as a husband. You know what? Here, I'm gonna send your brother as a concubine. Ah, fantastic. Wow, okay, enjoy, daughter. I'm sure you'll just love banging your brother. Ah, good grief. In any case, I suppose what we should do is kind of go through the various leaders or rulers that we've had. And also review our campaign. So, we ended with Pontifex Maximus Solvix, the Bane of the Jia, who, as it turns out, initially her stats weren't that great, and I was a little concerned, but as I thought about it, again, as a horse lord, these stats don't matter as much. Maybe the martial score a little bit if you're leading troops and whatnot, but beyond that, I mean, it's mostly about your traits and whatnot with when it comes to leading troops anyway, so it wouldn't really matter too much. But yeah, she actually turned out to be not so bad. Her personal combat skill is not quite as good as her mother's, but, she's still pretty good. And she also managed to overcome her cravenness and contended... No. What? She's a living paradox. How is she content and ambitious? Those are two opposing traits. If you have one, you can't have the other. What the? Seven hells? Also, can I obfuscate? No. Sadly, being a truce breaker and adulteress are not things that I can obfuscate, it seems. Alright, well, that's fine. And currently our heir is Vidoka the Unfaithful, who definitely has a better martial skill than her mother. Wait, she has wolf's tooth? When did she do that? Oh well, good for her. I was kind of hoping that we could breed her into being the wolf child, but oh well. Oh god. Oh god. What is this unholiness that is before me? The hair, the face, the fucking Fu Manchu, and the gullet. My god. You are a filthy beast. Good grief. Oh well. Okay, so before Solvix was Marios, who herself only had 5 children, who I think was undoubtedly one of the greatest rulers I ever had. And I'm not just talking about her stats either. Her personal combat skill, I think at one point or another, was over 200, which is pretty crazy. And she also has a kill list of 586, which was actually not that difficult to accomplish because we basically just need to have a whole bunch of people in my prison and, you know, do nothing because they would just die in the prisons, right? But yeah, I think she was probably one of our best rulers because of how much she accomplished. I forget what stage our empire was in when she inherited control, but I believe, wait, because we used our subjugation war on, was it Marios that used the subjugation on Austrasia, or did she use it on was it Africa or one of the, oh, I think it was the Muhalabids, right? Yeah, I think she might have used the subjugation CB on the Muhalabids. And then she completely and utterly annihilated the Abbasids, as well as the rest of the Iberian Peninsula. And I think she also took over England, because I think we went down like this. Yeah, I think that's the case. So I think she was probably the ruler with the single most territory gain ever. Oh, and she also took over India too. Yeah, she definitely took over the most amount of territory ever as a single ruler, in my experience, in any case. And of course, before... Wait, actually? Okay, so... Oh, right. For some reason, I forget why we couldn't do the whole send child as an adventure or mercenary thing. I still can't seem to do it with Vidoka, which is really weird. Is it maybe because she's on the council? Maybe that's what it is. Because I can recruit you to the Warrior Lodge. I feel like I should be able to send you away to the mercenary thing, no? Maybe not. Any of your children? Let me quickly look at this. That's not the best dynasty look or thing. Okay, so looking at this, Burgur, that's my husband. Iveri, no, that's no one special. Are you someone special? Okay, so I can send this guy away as a mercenary, which is interesting. Is a ruler. Sorry, is not a ruler, is not a prisoner, is not hiding. Otherwise occupied with important business. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, interesting. So then if I relieve her as my marshal, and maybe also make her not my commander, and strip away her honorary titles, maybe then I can send her away as a mercenary. It might bear a little bit more experimentation, but that could be the case. Yeah. Alright, well that's fine. We're not using this this post-mortem to do any troubleshooting, so let's not focus on that. Okay, so before Marios was of course our first named character, Pluten, who I believe was responsible for the capture of the Byzantine Empire? Or wait. No, I think it was Rosemag that took the Byzantine Empire, right? Let me quickly look at this. So the Duchy kind of Thrace. So who took it over? Yeah, okay, so it was Rosemag that did it. Pluten inherited it. Right. But Pluten was the one, I believe, who was able to Pluten was our first Hellenic ruler, and he also managed to reform Hellenism in one fell swoop, if I recall correctly. Yeah, which is pretty damn impressive, and he was also a pretty impressive ruler too, despite the fact that he was not in fact a genius. Yeah, I think we had to resort to using Pluten because Rosemag did not have a lot of children, and I don't think he had any child who was a genius was able to take over. Yeah, I think that was the case, and we just kind of focused on Pluten. Yeah, I mean, genius trait is nice, but it's definitely not necessary for a ruler. I'd like to have it on all of my rulers, because it just kind of makes things a little easier, and it opens up a lot of options too, because the higher your stats are in various things, the more options, the more things you can do. Like there's some options that are that you can't use because you're lacking in a certain trait or stat or whatever. But if you have genius, it makes things a little easier that way, which is why I'm so insistent on making sure all my rulers have genius stuff, because it just makes things more interesting. It's not necessarily for the stats, but you know. Yeah, considering that he was the Pontifex Maximus, he was of course the first one to reform Hellenism, which actually happened quite easily, and I'm glad it worked out this way, because of our nomad succession, we wouldn't have been able to convert to the proper Greek culture anyways, and I think you need to have the Greek culture in order to take that option to delve into the classics. I think it's actually very restrictive. It's not just Byzantine culture group, but you actually need to be Greek or Roman or Italian, I think. Yeah, which is, again, very restrictive, but it worked out for us. We were very lucky in that we had a courtier who I believe was Hellenic right off the get-go. Or not a courtier, but someone that we could recruit that was Hellenic right off the get-go, and we were able to breed that dude into various things and whatnot. So yeah, Pluton accomplished much, and he was even a duelist. Wait, I think he also became a hero, right? Yeah. And Pluton was able to found the immortal blood of Alexander. Yeah, it started with him. And also the whole sly blood thing, which I'd like to try out more in future campaigns. It was kind of a shame that we got this one for our Forged Bloodline ambition. But, I guess it kind of came in useful maybe once, but still. And of course, officially, he was our second ruler, but I like to think of Rosemag as our actual first ruler, because before Rosemag was Birdie, who died like 2 years after we started the campaign. 2 years! Didn't even die of natural causes or old age, he died in combat. It was ridiculous. Wait a minute. He died against someone with the same name? Oh my god. I didn't even know that. Oh, wow. Maybe it was some kind of like weird Highlander-esque fight where it was like, there can only be one Birdie, because it's such a unique name. I can't stand to see someone else named Birdie. How dare you, good sir? How dare you? He actually managed to kill someone? That is funny. That is funny. So I'd like to think of Rosemag as our first ruler, but, you know, officially speaking, he wasn't. But yeah, Rosemag, I believe, was able to quickly take over the Byzantine Empire. And I mentioned this in the final episode, but I did not anticipate nor intend for this campaign to progress as quickly as it did. We were able to capture territory at record speeds. It was all thanks to the invasion CB stuff, which I'm hoping that you guys will also use in your campaigns. I mean, it's a little gamey, I guess, in a sense, because you're taking so much territory in such a short span of time. But it's very, very useful. And remember, you only need to actually siege down the very top holding in order for everything below it to also become yours by the time you enforce demands. And also, I think during invasion CBs, if the enemy surrenders, you still get all the stuff that you have sieged down. And I think they say that too, so keep that in mind as well. So, yeah, as I was saying, I did not anticipate nor intend for this campaign to go as quickly as it did, because I think even with the March of the Jewish Horde campaign, I think how many episodes did we have for that? Shoot. Let me quickly look that up. Because we definitely advanced a lot faster in this campaign than we did that campaign. And we had 90 episodes. 3 times more episodes in March of the Jewish Horde than we did the Amazonian Apocalypse. Wow, I didn't realize that we actually had 90 episodes. That's crazy. What was I doing? Well, I think though, to be fair, with the March of the Jewish Horde campaign, we didn't have as lucky of a start, where the Byzantines were fractured into multiple rebellions. Because I think at that time the Byzantines suffered not 1 but 2 separate rebellions at the same time, and that's why they were so weak. And because our troops, our horse archer troops, are supremely powerful in comparison to the regular infantry, they were able to just completely and utterly, you know, blast them in the ass in the least sexual of ways. But yeah, that was a really lucky break, and with that, we were able to, of course, secure our Hellenism too, because of the various holy sites, right? Yeah, because there was Attica and Thessalonica, and well, that stuff came later. But wasn't Abydos one of the holy sites? I thought it was. Weird. I guess it's not. Okay, well, Attica and Thessaloniki, definitely, yeah, because we took that, I think, when we subjugated the Byzantine Empire. And I think at one point, did they lose their war? No. We kicked their teeth in, and then we inherited the wars, and then we were able to crush the wars individually, the revolts individually. Yeah, I remember that's what happened. But yeah, this was awesome. The one negative, though, was the stuff that I had to do in between episodes, which is, of course, go through the list of courtiers, kick out everyone that I deemed was unnecessary, and also the banishing of various prisoners and whatnot. That was a major pain in my butthole in the least sexual of ways. That was not fun, I will admit. That was not fun, but it had to be done, and I'm kind of glad I did it, because it gave me some time to watch stuff as I was playing this game, I guess. I mean, play is a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Because I wasn't really playing, I was just randomly clicking on shit. And one thing that I discovered that could be helpful for you guys is if you're looking for... Say you subjugated a realm, or you conquered something, or you've just captured a whole ton of prisoners, and you're trying to look for people with various bloodlines. The difficult way to do it would be to individually go through this, and then look at their things, like, oh, they don't have a bloodline. That's a slow way to do it. What I found helps out a lot is to go into your ledger, find the bloodline page, and then click on the dude or dudette if the game decides to load for whatever reason. Oh, I guess it's because it's going through the court list again. Ah, shit, I should have closed that tab. Yeah, so if you look through here and you go into click to show descendants, sort by realm. If you sort by realm, generally it works, but I don't know why it's not working this time. That's weird. But normally it would say they're a courtier in whatever, and you can find them easily. And if they're a prisoner, then it'll actually say they're a prisoner in whatever too. So then you can just go ahead and release them or try to recruit them. I found that this is a much easier way of doing it rather than going through the entire list of prisoners and clicking on them individually, etc., etc. Which just makes my internal organs gush straight out of my asshole. And nobody wants that, because that is what they call in the geological community a diarrhea cano, which is, of course, a mixture of diarrhea and volcano, but volcano out of your butt. In any case, I definitely learned some things. I've learned the limitations of the game engine. And I thank the people who did some digging and investigating as to why it's happening. Still no real explanation as to why it's happening. I think some of the explanations was that perhaps it need to calculate the various titles and whatnot that I have under my belt. This is a fucking solid black line. Oh my god. It looks like a sausage. It looks like a sausage that's like got like a black exterior or whatever, and then it just ends with this. You know what? That's actually not a bad county emblem to end with, right? But yeah, beyond that, another thing that we learned was, I believe Hellenic pagans cannot technically use the subjugation CB. Was it the subjugation? Yeah, I think it was a subjugation CB. They technically can't use a subjugation CB. Or was it the invasion? No. I forget. I think it was a subjugation. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this. But it's either subjugation or invasion. However, nomads have access to subjugation and invasion CBs. So that trounced that. But as nomads, we should be allowed to take and give concubines. But because we are Hellenic, we can't do that. So what I found is that there's a lot of inconsistency as to which rule supersedes which rule. Like sometimes it's the nomadic rule that supersedes the Hellenic rule, and vice versa. It's confusing how there's no consistency with that. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed with the Hellenic pagan religion. There's very little to no flavor with this. It almost feels like they added Hellenism as like an afterthought. It was like, you know what? This is a bit of a fan service to the players, because some people try to do they used to before a Holy Fury. People were able to convert to Hellenism via the Immortal Horse event, which was kind of one of the only ways to get that going. So it feels like they kind of just added this as fan service, which is nice, but where are our holy relics? Where's our Greek name for the Hellenic gods? Because it showed up when we were doing that dice game thing. So I feel like it kind of works, but it also doesn't, which is really strange to me. But yeah, one thing I realized is that I was not a fan of the whole Haru spicy thing, because every time you go to war, it's like you have to pay. Doesn't matter how much money you have. No. You have to make a tribute to the gods. That is just like the most important thing ever. It's like, come on, really? It's just a stupid rebellion with like 300 dudes. I don't need to spend any amount of money to tell me that I'm about to kick their fucking teeth in down through their digestive tract and then have their mouth be where their anus is, so they chew through their butts. Alright? I don't need to have Zeus tell me that I can accomplish that. Not when I have like, what? 193,000 troops ready and willing to bend and spread at my behest. So, yeah, but otherwise, I'd say the civilized thing is actually pretty powerful, because not only does it make it so that you can have your vassal troops raised without any protest from them, but it also, I believe, grants syncretism and meritocracy, I think, which is pretty cool. But here, again, we found that we can't designate heir with a meritocracy, because we don't have the right succession laws, etc., which is a real shame. Because when we reformed Hellenism, initially we had the Enatic clan thing, and that made our succession law Enatic open, which was pretty cool. But then it didn't work, so it's kind of a shame. And it's also a real shame that we weren't able to use matriarchal. I forget what the actual CB is, but if you have the doctrines of warmongering and Enatic clans, or agnatic clans even, you have a very specific CB that you can use against either male or female rulers, respectively. For Enatic clans, it's matriarchal. I think it's deposition or something. And the Enatic clans, it's a patriarchal deposition, where if it's a female ruler, you get to attack them and then replace that person with someone with a male of your dynasty. And in Enatic clans, you'd be replacing a dude with a female member of your dynasty to rule over that, which I was really looking forward to trying, because I thought that we could do that to maybe establish some tributary states and whatnot that were ruled by women and had the Hellenic faith and all that stuff, but didn't quite work out. So I think what would be cool, and what I'd really love to do, is I think we need to give Enatic clans another shot. For sure. And I think we need to do it as either... I think we need to do it as a feudal society, in essence. Because being nomad, I think, kind of like screwed up a lot of our options. Which is fine, because, you know, I mean... I think we had a lot of fun as the Amazons, but I'd like to definitely try Enatic clan as another pagan religion down the line, and really just delve into the whole. Maybe that can be a campaign where instead of capturing territory, we just try to replace all the rulers of all the realms with women from our dynasty. That could be a thing. I mean, eventually we'd have to take territory to make sure that we border them so that we can make use of that CB, but you know, that could be a thing for sure. But yeah, we'll see. But what I'm trying to say is that we should definitely revisit Enatic clans in the future, and I'd love to. It was a lot of fun. Wait, did I even get the impressive achievement? Fuck. I don't think I even got the impressive achievement. Ah, shit. You know what I might do? I might actually just play this off camera, let time pass, and then once Sovix bites the bucket and then Vidoka takes over, then, you know, I'll get the impressive achievement, and then I'll just show off to you guys next campaign or something. I don't know. Or maybe we can do that next time when we play as the Enatic clan again. Yeah, that could be a thing. That could be cool. But yeah, besides that, it's crazy how quickly we were able to build up our population. I thought we were going to struggle with it for sure, but it turns out that pillaging villages and fertilizing the fields with dead bodies and whatnot, and also rubble, and feeding the dead bodies and rubble to our horses and children is apparently a very awesome way to boost up your population very quickly. So yeah, pro tip, pillage those villages, because that's gonna boost up your population like nobody's business. Like, look at this. Holy shit, population boom. Up the wazoo. Wow, wee-wah. But it all expires next year, really? That early? Ah, shit. It has been a while since I've had the population boom, though, hasn't it? Yeah. Whatever happened to the piety thing? Because I thought I was gaining a whole bunch of piety from not the special holdings. Weird, maybe it is. But yeah, whatever, it's fine. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I struggle with piety a lot. I will say, I struggle with piety a lot. And I think in this particular campaign, instead of, I think maybe civilized, Might have been a better idea for me to have taken Bloodthirsty Gods, but since we took that in our Remove on Rampage campaign, I wanted to give Civilized a try, but yeah, having access to Bloodthirsty Gods would have made prison management very, very tolerable, because I would have just been able to sacrifice a whole bunch of these people, not have to worry about piety or banishing people, because if you banish them, you're just kicking the can around, right? You're just, I believe the expression is that you're just kicking the can farther down the street. Because eventually, whatever realm that you, say for example, this lady, if you banish her... I'm sorry, what? The fuck was that? Let me banish her. See? I mean, this isn't working as intended. I think it's because we're technically the only realm in the entire world now that this is happening. But when you banish someone, they have to go to another court, or I guess mercenary band in some cases. Yeah, because I think some of these mercenary bands have received some of the people that we've kicked out. But yeah, so when you banish them, and say for example the like Abbasid Empire was still next to us, if we banish like the Sunni people and prisoners from our realm and ask them to leave our court, etc., then they would go there, and then eventually once we take their stuff over, they'll just become our courtiers or prisoners again. So like I said, you're just kicking the can farther down the street. If I had Bloodthirsty Gods, however, I would have been able to just sacrifice all these filthy heathens and infidels, and then they wouldn't have had anywhere to go, because they're dead. And I'm assuming that the undead don't exist in this world, so they wouldn't have been a problem farther down the street. But it's fine. Lessons learned. So if you plan on doing a campaign similar to mine, keep that in mind. You are going to struggle with courtiers being kicked around in various places. And while I was doing this, I actually had a couple of crashes. So keep that in mind as well. And I've got a pretty beefy computer, so it's not my computer lagging or anything like that. But yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Your computer may crash from time to time as it calculates through all the fucking prisoners and courtiers, especially when you try to execute all foreign prisoners at the same time. I think if you try to execute like over 100 prisoners at the same time, the game just crashes. Thankfully, you know, you can make use of the whole, even if you're an Iron Man, you can make use of the whole saving thing before you do that. That way, you can always just load back to the point before you attempted this thing. So yeah, keep that in mind. But I think that's gonna be it for our post-mortem. I apologize for the kind of rambling nature, but I suppose that's generally how my post-mortems go. That, and also, we didn't really have much to talk about in terms of our leaders, because we've had so few. What am I supposed to talk about? The the rulers that we've had in our entire campaign for like 30 minutes? No. But yeah, this was fun. This was a lot of fun, and definitely a good change of pace, and a short and sweet campaign, if you can believe that. At a world conquest, which is pretty crazy to think about. A world conquest turned out to be one of the shortest campaigns we've ever had. That is insane. That is absolutely insane, but it's all thanks to the Invasion CB stuff. Pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. And I don't think I got to use the Blood of Alexander thing as much, except for the personal combat skill. The invasion thing, I think that was superseded by our nomadic invasion. Kind of a shame that we still can't, you know, have like a free invasion or whatever, but oh well. We also really didn't get to use this as much, but yeah, that's fine. I'm sure we'll have a lot of opportunities to get more bloodlines and such in our next campaign. And what's interesting, sorry, before we end things, what's interesting is that I think I've had the most success merging bloodlines in this campaign than I did in my last campaign, which is weird to think about, but yeah. I guess when you have basically everyone and their dog imprisoned, you know, merging bloodlines is not that difficult to accomplish. Yeah. But with that, let's end the post-mortem and the campaign officially here. As this is technically the actual last episode of the campaign. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who, you know, kept up and commented, liked, subscribed, etc., etc. Same thing that I said in the finale episode. And thank you to all these supporters. And hey, if you'd also like to become a supporter, please be sure to check out my Patreon, or you can join as a member of the channel. Then you can also get a cool little icon next to your name when you comment and interact with me in my live streams and whatnot. And you also, hey, you also get a chance to vote on future CK2 campaigns and also future series on the channels too. So, you know, that's another incentive. But be sure to read the benefit levels on Patreon. For the YouTube members, you know, it's $5 a month or whatever, and that's just, you know, it's only one tier. I don't have an option to add more tiers, and that'll give you the option to vote on campaigns as well as the cool little icon, which unfortunately I can't give to Patreon supporters, but, you know. So, you know, take your pick if you do want to support me financially. And if not, that's fine too. Just, you know, enjoy the series and channels, or the videos, and that's really all I need from you guys. So, with that, let's end the post-mortem here and the campaign. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and have an amazing breakfast.